What do you think is going on out there where there's hatred towards police officers?
I think there is a mistrust and hatred toward police officers on the part of a few people. I believe, especially here in West Jordan, that we have the support of the vast majority of our populations. I think in our state and across the country, that's pretty much the case. It's a vocal minority that's being heard, and there is that mistrust. Why? I really don't know.
Do you think that maybe he was hoping for suicide by cop in this case?
I can't say that for sure. I know that he was prepared for a gunfight, and that he had mentioned to his wife that he would engage in a gunfight with police. So what his thoughts were, what his mental state, I can't, that would all be speculation.
You guys were able to confirm the wife was also in the room with the 3 kids?
Yes. As we approached the house, there was some miscommunication. We were initially on the phone with her. We didn't know exactly where she was. One of the officers did see her in the room, but that was not communicated to the 2 officers that went up onto the roof. So there was a little bit of miscommunication there, but Sergeant Soper, after he went in, after the shots were fired, turned around and she was, in fact, in the room with him.
When you guys were talking to him through a window, was it that same window or was it a downstairs window?
No, it was an upstairs window on the opposite end of the house. Both windows faced the front of the house. He was on the north end. The children and the wife were on the south end of the house.
Based on the negotiations with him, was there any hope this would end peacefully, or was he pretty set on the outcome?
It was intermittent communication. He refused to let the children, and we know now the wife, out of the house. We were still trying to, I mean, again, this happened, the actual shooting happened about an hour after, a little bit less than an hour from the time that we got there and started trying to open negotiations. Usually with negotiations, we can negotiate, but it takes some time. I don't know from the language whether or not he intended to do this from the beginning and wasn't going to relent. We always hope that they will let people out and we can end these things without any bloodshed and without any conflict.
Were the officers on scene, were they aware of these threats towards police prior to the shooting, or did you learn that after the fact?
We learned that after the, well, we actually knew that he had made some threats. And again, we were getting kind of sketchy information as we talked to her. And so they knew some of the threats, maybe not to the detail that we know now.
What was the detail of
To the detail of what his statements were to other people, indicating that he was suicidal and that he had this angst or aggravation against police officers and was willing to.
You know, recently he had made those comments or threats?
I don't know exactly. I know they were made in the past, within the past few weeks or months.
Did he have just one gun with a lot of ammunition stocked up, or did he have multiple guns around the house ready?
He had multiple guns. He had the handgun with multiple magazines that were loaded, and he also had 3 long guns, 2 rifles, and a shotgun. And they were all loaded with ammunition laying right beside them.
We hear about stories like this where oftentimes people who are feeling suicidal or have mental issues or possibly domestic issues who are armed, what recourse could his wife have taken in this situation to possibly deal with that situation, or to try to resolve it or get him help, or to possibly make it so he wasn't armed anymore? Or is there any recourse?
There is recourse. I mean, we can try and get the weapons out of the house, all those kinds of things. Again, I want to be perfectly clear. I'm not being judgmental of her. She is in a very difficult situation in this affair. She is very scared of what's happening and what's going on, not in just this situation, but in the weeks and months before this. She was fearful. She didn't know what to do. So my word to people, my advice to people that are in that situation is please come and talk to us. Confide in this before it happens. let us help you. We can hook you up with domestic violence services. Even if it hasn't come to the point of any blows or anything, and we don't know, we don't believe that there was any physical domestic violence at this point in time, but even if it's not to that point, please come and talk to us so that we can help you through this process and get you some help.
Is there any footage of this, body cam, dash cam?
No, the officers, we only have about 16 body cameras in our fleet of body cameras right now. Both officers that were on the roof, neither one of them are issued a body camera. We do have some audio recording that was captured on a dash camera where the officer had his mic on him. But other than, there's no really footage of this.
That audio being released at this point?
We do have the audio that we will release, and Sergeant Roberts will give you the Dropbox location of that.
And as far as Sergeant Soper and Sergeant Shepard, how long have they been with the police department?
Sergeant Soper has been with the police department for around 17 years. Sergeant Shepard, about 25 years.
Any history at all of them needing to be reprimanded for anything, or have they been?
No, they both are outstanding sergeants. Mitch Soper has served honorably in the Marine Corps, served several tours of duty in Afghanistan and Iraq. He is, up until recently, was in charge of our SWAT team, and we just rotated him out because he'd been there for a long time, and that takes a toll on you. So he's a very well-trained, very sharp individual. I couldn't ask for two better officers to be involved in this.
Are they active duty? They're not?
They, they are currently on administrative leave. That's standard protocol. For us, we want them to be able to put their heads around this. It is not normal for people to kill other people. And we have to watch out for the mental health of our officers, and that's really what we're trying to do with this.
Have they ever been involved in shootings before?
Not to my knowledge. I'm not sure about Sergeant Soper's service in Iraq, whether he had to shoot in that or not, or engage with the enemy there. But to my knowledge here, no.
Any idea why he would put his kids in the middle of this?
I have no idea. I mean, it's when somebody's despondent like that, I just think reason goes out the door. So I don't know.
Did he make any final statements before engaging the officers?
Not to the officers that I'm aware of. He didn't say anything to the officers.
Do you feel in a way maybe the kids and the wife were upstairs because he anticipated anything that was coming through the front door with the mattress? May have been second.
Yeah, the mattress was upstairs, not downstairs, but that would be speculation.
You touched on the fact that there was warning signs. It seems like a lot of people didn't do anything about these warning signs. A month or weeks ahead, talking about suicide, and family, friends knew about this. Did anybody say anything?
Not to us. I don't know what help they tried to get him individually, but they didn't report it to the police. Again, the police are not the first choice, to try and help with a mental health issue, nor should we be. But we do have access to some resources, or at least connect people with resources. So if you don't know where to go, please come and talk to us. We can try and get you hooked up with some resources to help. Okay, with that, if there's no further questions, that'll conclude this. Thank you very much.